Today's video is inspired by a series of videos that I do over on our Patreon page, which is called the Drill of the Week. And I recently did a drill of the week which was double knife, and not just double knife but double knife in these irregular grips. So one hand was pakal, one hand was saksa. I'd like to share a variation of one of the drills that I taught there. Now double knife within the Filipino martial art that I do, Pekiti or Shakali, is often viewed as a vehicle to be able to understand and better train empty hand. The drill I'm going to be sharing with you today is going to be working both grips, pakal and saksa, and it's going to work whether you have double knife or single knife in your left hand or your right hand. So the drill is going to be combining your gunting motions and your following motions, and the major thing that we have to get right before we go into it is the coordination. Now I'm going to be using my basic open triangle footwork for all of this, and whichever side I am going, so if I'm going to my left side, my left hand is going to be on top of my right hand. This is really important. If I'm going to my right side, my right hand needs to be on top of my left hand. With the knife, if we have to make our guntings work, then this is the coordination that we need. I'm going to show you exactly what I mean a little bit later on when I get a partner to help me out. So initially my left hand is going to be in the pakal grip and my right hand is going to be in the saksa hammer grip. I'm going to be stepping to the left, I'm going to be hooking with my left hand and cutting with my right hand. As I step to the right, I'm going to be parrying or cutting, it's up to you how you want to do this in the air. With a partner it becomes easier to understand. I'm going to be parrying or cutting with my right hand and cutting with my left hand. Again on the other side, 1, 2, 1. As you can see, if I'm on my left side, my left hand's on top. When I'm on my right side, my right hand's on top. One thing to keep in mind is that you're going to constantly have to be changing the orientation of your grip, especially the pakal grip, because I'm going from hooking to slashing. So once we're comfortable with this basic gunting motion on both sides, and you can switch the grips in each hand and still be comfortable with it. So now the pakal's in my right hand, I'm going to hook on as I'm going to my right side, and I'm cut with the left hand, and I'm going to parry as I go to my left side and I cut with my right hand. Once you become comfortable with both sides, both grips, then we can add the next motion, which is our following motion. So I'm stepping to the left hand's going to be on top, left hand's going to be hooking, right hand's going to be cutting. That's my first gunting or crossing or scissoring motion. Now from here I'm going to fire off my right hand with a backhand angle 2 and follow it with my left hand angle 1, forehand. Now I'm going the other side, parrying, cutting. And now this hand's going to thrust, this hand's going to slash. Going the other side, parrying and cutting, slash, thrust. Going the other side, parrying and cutting, thrust, slash. Again, it's important to remember what your pakal side is doing. The saksa side sort of takes care of itself if you're just cutting on both things. But if you're hooking on one side and cutting on the other side, it's important to remember where the edge is, where the tip is, because now we're also adding in a thrust. Once you're comfortable on one side, it's also important to get comfortable with the same full drill on the other side. So right hand pakal, left hand saksa. So that's my gunting, that's my following motion. That's my gunting, that's my following motion. One more time, I'm cutting and I'm hooking, I'm slashing and I'm thrusting. I'm parrying as I'm cutting, I'm thrusting and I'm slashing. When I shift from this to empty hands, it's going to be important to remember that whichever was my pakal hand, that's the hand that's going to be empty hands, because this scoop or this hook is what I want to mimic with my hand. So the same way I was scooping or hooking with my pakal grip, I'm going to be parrying with my empty hand. That's one, that's my slash, and I can be jamming, I can be slapping, I can be parrying. If I want to do the same thing on the other side, I should switch my hands. And now again I'm doing the same thing. 1, 2, switch your hands. Bang, 1, 2, switch your hands. 1, 2. I can also do the same thing if I have pakal in one hand and nothing in the other hand. I'm parrying now, I'm assuming both hands were pakal. So this is going to parry, this is going to slash. Now thrust and slap, thrust and parry, trap, thrust and parry. Going the other side with the other hand is switched. I'm going to slash as I parry. This is my gunting motion. Thrust and slap, thrust and trap, thrust and parry. We're going to take a quick pause in the video to thank our sponsors, our patrons. It's really hard to make any money on YouTube, and without the support of our patrons on our Patreon page, we would not be able to make the videos that we do. If you'd like to know more about our Patreon page and the exclusive content that we offer there, we upload about 3 exclusive videos for Patreon every week. Please check out the link in the description down below. Now back to the video. So now Zari is going to give me an angle 1 and then followed by and angle 2. Whichever hands in the pakal grip is going to parry his angle 1, and at the same time as I am parrying the angle 1, the other knife is going to be cutting his forearm. From here, as the angle 2 comes, I am going to be cutting and jamming. So I am going to meet his angle 2 with my angle 2 of saksa, and then the pakal grip is going to jam. And from here, it's up to me if I want to follow up with whatever it is I want to follow up with. So he gives me an angle 1, I cut and parry, I parry and jam. So once really slowly, I cut and parry while moving to the outside, parry and jam. I am not trying to stop his arm with my knife. I am just cutting it, and then this grip is coming through to jam. On the other side, when he's giving me angle 1 on that hand, I am parrying with the knife in saksa. It's up to you whether you want to go with the edge of the blade. Some people will put this finger out and go with their fist like this. Some people will go with their wrist. Either of them are okay as long as you are parrying by his wrist. My other hand, which is in pakal, is going to be cutting his forearm as I am doing this gunting motion. So he gives me angle 1, I parry and cut. Now from here he gives me angle 2, I jam with this. Now because the structure is a little bit different in this, I have a little bit more, I can control a little bit more with this pakal. I am going to clear this and I am going to attack the neck. So the applications are slightly different. So one more time, I parry and cut, I jam and I cut, or I thrust. It's really up to me. The way this translates to empty hands is I am going to pretend that this hand still has the pakal grip. So I am going to parry to control. So parry and cut and jam. On the other side, I am going to switch my grip, because if I have this empty hand and I am parrying with my knife, doing something with this hand, having to extend it so much, is probably going to get my own hand cut. Because if I slap his arm, it's not going to do as much damage as if I cut his arm. So if I have the option to cut his arm, I'm obviously going to choose that. So I'm switching my grip, he gives me angle 1, I'm parrying and cutting and jamming, either at the elbow or at the tricep, and I can jam it down here, or I just want to control it for a second, give me time to do something else. Same thing can happen in pakal. If he cuts, I go parry and cut, one more time, parry and cut, I jam, I can shove this down, control, come up with a cut. On the other side, I'm switching hands again, I'm going to parry and cut in my gunting motion, jam, I'm going to control, I'm going to cut. I can either jam this to his body, I can even thrust down to his body, control the elbow and then cut up. It's really up to you. But the same principles are going to translate from double knife to single knife. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked what you saw, if you learned from what you saw, please do like and share this video. Please just subscribe to the channel. If you have anything to add, leave that in the comments down below. All of these things really do help out the school and the channel a lot. A huge thank you to all of our patrons. Thank you so much for your support. If you'd like to know more about our Patreon page and the exclusive content that we offer there, check out the link in the description down below. Lastly, thank you guys for watching and see you in the next video.